Hey, Thomas, how's it going? You're back again.
Doing great.
Yeah,
It's a pleasure to be back.
yeah. Can't get rid of you. No, just kidding. I love you here. Um, we're going to talk about your shadow functions. I'll put a link to the first video we did together a while back. Um,
Yeah. Man, how long was that?
I don't know. You were like one of my first interviews.
Oh man, here I am wanting the what, lol.
Right, exactly. Oh, wow. Yeah. Um, so we're going to talk about your shadow functions. Do you have your own theories on this, or you're sort of with the OP camp, or what's going on with your shadow
Um,
functions?
well, first of all, I just want to apologize for all your viewers. I did not I forgot that we were doing this. I did not properly do my hair, so please
Oh, my
forgive.
poor
The SF is
viewers.
not as good as it could. Anyway,
I'm sure they forgive you.
please do. Okay. No, so yeah, I don't know if so much if I have my own theories so much as I'm just trying to understand like what's going on in the world, trying
Yeah,
to understand things from, the OP point of view. And like I've been reading some like actual Carl Jung stuff, well, I guess translated into English because he
right.
originally wrote it in not English. I don't
Yeah,
know. And so it's more of just like, I've I have a journey of discovery of learning just the basics and getting into some of the interesting applications of the basics and more advanced stuff. And I've dived, dived,
Dove. I
dove.
don't know.
I've I've dug into the shadow stuff just a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, and I think my personal opinion at this point is that, or I guess the way that I understand it right now is that we don't literally have our shadow functions. Like I'm, FE first. So
Hmm.
according to somebody's math, like my first shadow would be FI. But as far as I understand it, we don't like literally, if the pipes
Yeah.
even show up, literally have FI. But like, yeah,
So yeah, the whole purpose of this is just to try to get the data from reality. So we'll
right.
try to ask you about your FI first. You're right. We'll start with that, and we'll try to get see if we can sort of understand what shadow functions actually play out and not theoretically play out. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's very interesting. I mean, you can go pretty far when just diving into theory alone, but I love that you're looking at the specific details of how it plays out in reality for specific people.
Right.
I like extracting the patterns from multiple examples.
Right. Exactly. That
SENI.
SENI. There you go. Perfect.
Wait, I don't know how to
Okay.
dab. There we go. I don't know, whatever.
I don't even know what that is, but I'll do it with you.
Just anyway, serious matter.
Right. Yes. So FE goes to FI, shadows to
Right.
FI. So do you know what FI is? Does it make sense to you? Is it something that you feel like you can access?
Yeah. So I have all the people in my house other than me are FI either first or second,
Mm.
or I guess third. Um, so I have a lot of examples of FI, and I've had the opportunity to learn the depth of what FI looks like.
Oh, that's
Feminine
cool.
FI first, as well as masculine FI second,
Hmm.
and there's a huge range of what FI is. It's fascinating to me.
Yeah. It's probably deeper than you can sort of understand as an FE user, no?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like, all the functions are, but um just kind of seeing the different, because like the way that I like to understand all of behavior is like every single thing that a human does is some part of your personality, and you're either playing, blasting,
Cognition, yeah.
consuming, or sleeping, or some combination of those. So everything that my wife, for example, is feminine FI first, but double activated masculine TE.
Right.
So, so you see a lot of TE, but you see a lot of where there would be something, but she's just not using her FI out loud. So you see kind of like the footprint of where her FI would be if she were expressing it. That doesn't make any sense, but whatever.
But anyway, so we're here talking about your FI.
Right, me. I forgot about
Yeah.
that.
Right.
Right. So my FI, I've thought about this a lot. Like I definitely have feelings out the wazoo. But generally it's focused outwards on other people, and I don't think about myself when thinking about feelings. And then when thinking about myself, I generally think of thinking and, nerd out on nerd stuff. My identity is very much related to my reasons and the truths and such. But what I've been trying to kind of look around the corner of my FI to see, or FE to see what kind of FI is not there. And what really disturbed me was that I noticed a pattern in myself that I was like almost self-sabotaging my own FI. Like seeing things that, if I were an FI person would, for example, liking specific stuff. And then like denying myself those things like on autopilot without even thinking about it. For example, I stayed on using this old crappy Android phone because of reasons. There were good reasons for using it, but partly it was because I deeply felt the need to have a really nice, good device, realized my own feelings for that, and then specifically went in the opposite direction. And like I noticed that one pattern and started to look at it, and I've noticed the kind of the same pattern of just like abusing my own virtual FI in various ways without even realizing it, which was very weird.
Do you have personal values that are your own?
I guess it depends on what you mean by values. Like morals, my own unique morals, I guess. Like I believe in, I guess that's just TI, is truth,
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Right. But also you should, that's more FE, is just like you should consider all of the feelings of everybody in the room and their
That's still FE
perspectives.
there. Yeah. That's still
Right. So
right.
my own unique values. I'm not sure what that means.
Do you rank things in terms of preference?
I guess when it comes to,
Can you?
I guess let's see, my own personal preference.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to technologies, like I can rank things of like what technologies I like best,
Not what
but
works best, not what has a reason for it being better. What
right,
yeah.
that's where it gets complicated, because a lot of the things that I like the best because it works best for me,
Yeah.
which is just AI.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but there are some things that I do like, even though it goes against the tribe and goes against logic. It doesn't work as well for me as other things do, but I just like it better,
Uh-huh.
even though other people don't like it. And I
Would
guess
it
that's,
would
the
it
definition.
be would that be an FI reason or more like an SI reason or an SE reason? Like is it an aesthetic reason or it's just something that it's closer to your heart?
I
You
guess
value
it's
it more.
a lot of that is aesthetics of like
Uh-huh.
it's like more visually pleasing, or just like
Right.
there's I guess an NI thing about of just like it feels like it just fits. Like
Hmm.
sometimes when I just see some piece of technology or something that just like it gives you this weird feeling of it, just like that feels wrong in some way, and then you dig into it and you see where it's technically imperfect or short-sighted or whatever. So just like sometimes I can feel the wrongness of it,
Hmm.
and that kind of shows up as a preference, which is, I guess that is a feeling thing of just like you can sense that it's a lower value, but you don't have any reasons for it. I guess that's an F thing.
Are there things that you just like, is there like a shirt that you just love and has nothing to do with the way it looks? It's just
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely clothes that I like because they're comfortable.
because. Yeah, without a
Right.
because. The because is the bad part there.
Right.
Yeah,
There's the reason. I
right.
guess, let's see, clothes that I like for no reason. Stuff that I like for no reason, I guess.
Or people,
Uh,
even people that you like for no reason.
oh, well, yeah, definitely.
So that would be FE then, right? Ranking people.
I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah, FI is a tricky one.
yeah.
I
It's
mean,
kind of tricky.
it's so easy for other people. They just like, I like this better than that. Like,
Yeah.
I just do.
Uh huh.
But I think, turning it back on me, I definitely have stuff that I like. I mean, look at all this junk behind me.
Right.
I've started to, in our last interview, it was
Right.
all just a
Collecting the
blank wall.
sensory. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like virtual SF consume. But honestly, all this stuff, it's all a prop for it. All of it there is for a logical reason.
Yeah. Right.
And I haven't really worked through the aesthetics of it. I just kind of, crapped it
Right.
out
Yeah.
there just to,
Yeah. We'll talk about that. I know where you're going with that. Yeah. So that's really interesting. So that FI, I don't even know how to get to it because FI for me is just so weak. I don't even know how to ask you
right.
about it. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, I see people in my house doing it all the time. It's just like,
So what do they do when they do an FI?
I guess, let's see. My 11-year-old daughter is an ISFP, same type as what's her name? Taylor Swift.
Okay.
We think, not
Yeah.
official, and she really likes animals. She
Okay.
really does, and she will. She's blast forth, but she will blast double masculine blast you all day about the animals that she really likes, telling you all kinds of facts and details about
Mm.
them, whether you like it or not. She just loves them, and that inner motivation drives her to
So
talk about it.
you do the same thing with OP though on your channel.
Yes. So I guess that is, OP is a thing that I like.
Like your favorite
Um,
blankie?
Not really.
No.
It's like it's the logical framework that works best for me so
Right.
far. But the instant that they, take a logical wrong turn, I will throw it away instantly.
Okay, interesting. All right, so we haven't really been able to touch at this. Maybe if you think of something later,
Yeah.
um, we'll bring it up. We'll move on.
I do have some favorite colors that I like to use a lot.
Okay, but that's also aesthetics, right?
Right? Dang
Yeah, you got to
it.
be careful with those aesthetics.
Right?
Like sometimes it feels
That's
like
just
it's FI,
SE.
but it's really yeah,
But then again, if it's making a decision about something,
it's valuing them. Yeah.
yeah, that is, or
See,
it's hard
aesthetics
to
don't
know.
for SE, especially for SE. Aesthetics don't really have value. I don't know.
Yeah, there are some that I just prefer just cause.
Right.
For example,
Okay.
like I love these colors.
Oh God, really?
I just do. I
80s
just love
child
them.
here. There we
I
go.
know. I don't know why. Do I need a reason to love this ridiculously bright color? It's just so horrible, but I just love it.
It's offensively horrible.
I should
Sorry,
probably tone it down.
no, yeah, I'm just messing with you. Um,
No, you got to express your FI. Offensively horrible. That's good.
um, so okay, so let's go into the shadow of your SE as your second savior is your SE, right?
Right.
Right. I said this right that time. So okay. You're not correcting me. I'm good.
Sorry. I'm really not that much of a controller in real life.
uh-huh. So your second savior SE would become SI as a shadow. So do you
Right.
organize the sensory? Do you see yourself doing that?
I mean, I liked it. My mother told me that um, I kept my room cleaner than my SI sister.
Cleaner or more tidy?
More tidy.
Right. Okay.
Um, like my wife is SI, my middleest daughter is SI, my grandmother's SI. There's SI all over the place. Sister.
They're all responsible for it. You're just not responsible in the house.
Well, they kind of do their own thing, but like I find myself, I my play blast energy always wants me to like grab a rag and like clean things.
Mm-hmm.
And historically, I did not do a good job of tidying because I just didn't value it, like making my bed and stuff like that. I just didn't see the point, and I just didn't do it.
Right.
But when I found out my wife's type, that she's SI, and that just like my understanding of SI is just like you unconsciously receive psychological pleasure when you just see things being neat and tidy, or see things being the same what.
Organist, yeah. Yeah.
So like I wanted to take away the pain from my wife and give her pleasure by keeping things tidy. So I just started doing that more and more. But that was for her. So I can perform
Right.
SI.
That's FE. That's
just FE.
Right. Okay. What about like keeping a clean notebook in class, like a neat notebook, good writing?
Yeah, no, I like the variety of the sensory. For example, like my notebook will just be like, I'll
Right.
keep things neat and tidy sometimes, and then I'll just break the mold and use a completely different handwriting style. And
What about like
on
your
another page, I'll
locker? I
use
don't know
my
if you had a
left
locker.
hand.
Yeah.
Huh?
I don't know if you had like a locker in class. Did you have a tidy locker or like a desk or a bag or?
I did homeschool, so like,
Oh yeah.
no, aggressively
Yeah, you're
no.
one of those weirdos. Okay. That's why you turned out like this. Here's an ad against
Right?
homeschool right here. Just kidding. Sorry.
Crying on the inside.
Yeah, I know. Is there that little FI there?
Yeah.
No. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're a single decider. That was
I
me.
am.
Yeah.
My decider should get married, and then it'll be a double decider. My FE plus my wife's FI together, we're a single double decider.
Right.
We're a married pair of single deciders.
Yes.
This is just play now. I
So no,
gotta
yeah,
start.
I'm trying to get into more of the side. Like, do you? What about your bodily experiences? Are you aware of your body at all times? Is this something that
0%.
right?
With that feminine
Uh-huh.
sensory, for example, when my NI has a plan and I'm locking in, I'm like walking into the garage to get like a wrench or whatever to fix a thing. I'm just like, I almost become deaf and blind, and like
Yeah,
I'll plow
I get that too.
through. Like if there's a box there or something in my way that I'm not expecting, that like shouldn't be there, I won't see it. I'll just plow straight through it
Mm-hmm.
and won't even notice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So all right. So no SI either. We got that.
Not so much.
But can you SI? Like, is it something? How does it feel when you do SI?
Well, let's see. Host Eric did like the SI polar test on somebody or other the other month, and
Right.
he was like, "Give me specific details of some point in your life." And like, let's see, can I rattle off SI subjective details? So this morning, I can't. I just can't. I have no idea. What did I do this morning? Okay, I woke up, got out of bed, and dragged a comb across my head. Now I'm just singing. Dang it. What is that, Beatles? Okay, play mode off. Okay, let's see. SI, can I SI? Nope, can't think of.
Can you? What happens when you do organize a sensory? When you go out and you do it, what does it feel like? Does it feel like you're doing something weird, like something wrong to organize it, or it's like
It's just boring.
pointless?
Well, what happens a lot is like when I go to organize at all, I slip into NI and start categorizing instead of actually literally organizing. I'm able to do it. For example, my wife and I cleaned our garage like the other month, and like I took all the cables of a certain size, wrapped them all up, zip tied the ones I'm unlikely to use, put them all in a bin. I felt so proud of myself. Like I organized physical things.
Right. Uh-huh.
That was amazing.
What about like sticking to a strict military step-by-step process? Is that something that
I love that. So I've been getting super into checklists. I've got like the checklist manifesto, and
Uh-huh.
I'll use like Notion.io or whatever it's called, to come up with like step by step bullet point lists of precise workflows and processes, and then I'll like when I go to do that thing, I'll open up that, duplicate it, and then like follow through the steps step by step by step, and it
Mm-hmm.
is amazing. The amount of play energy that I can expend by not having to think about what I'm doing. I can just go full tilt.
Right. And this is like a discovered thing, or it's like
Oh
something
yeah.
that, yeah. And what's it like doing that? What was it like starting that up?
Um, it was
Awkward,
like,
weird?
well, it was like this. I heard multiple people say that it was that people who have the highest tribe value do this thing, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do that thing, and then I
Oh,
started to
again,
do that
FE.
thing.
Right.
And now I am better than everybody else because I do this thing that they'd said that better people
Right.
do. Like that's not how
That
I really
savior
think.
again. Yeah.
It's like
Wow. It's
using my
crazy.
saviors to do my virtual shadow.
So like, yeah, exactly. Like, no, for the reasons, like, yeah, for the motivation to go and do your
Yeah.
shadow. Yeah, you're
The
using.
motivation was if you don't do this, you're worse. If
Uh-huh.
you do this, you're better. I want to
Right.
be better, so I'll do the thing.
But actually doing the thing then, like, without the motivation, what was that like?
I mean, I was never going to do it unless there was a good reason to do
Right.
it.
It wasn't
But one
weird. It wasn't awkward. It wasn't sort of, no.
was
Okay.
fine. It was like, do this thing. Like, okay, I'll do the thing. And then I did the thing and it was
Right.
fine.
Okay. So again, all right. Okay. So you're, all right. So your first demon is NI. Yours,
Right.
whatever. Yeah.
Sure.
You're,
Yes.
whatever we want to call
Technically.
it. The next one
Yeah.
in the order that I'm going.
D1 in OP speak.
Is it D1 or D2?
I don't know.
Right.
I'm pretty sure it's D1, but now I have to go check the sensory to be sure.
Right.
But let's just say it's my middle demon.
Right. Your middle demon. Um. So what about NE then?
So I thought I was NE all my life,
Right.
and like Dave and Shan guessed that I was NE
Oh, really?
just from my emails and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And see, here I'm going validating. The tribe says I'm NE, lol.
Mm-hmm.
So no, yeah. So NE was like the hardest thing for me to understand. I think I've kind of understand it because everybody my wife, my oldest daughter, and my middleest daughter have NE somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
My oldest daughter has NE first, feminine NE first. And so I've, just like seeing how she behaves and how her brain works and how
I'm having
it just,
deja vu of FI here. This is gonna
yeah,
go the same way.
it's like I can virtually do it, but it's very much, it's like, it's not real NE. Real NE, it's like exploring the concepts and nailing down the details. But I explore the details and then narrow down the concepts. But
Right.
I kind of visualize NI as like chains linked together.
Okay.
Like you can go really long, but it's very focused in. Oops, I press this button occasionally. Okay. And NE is more like a spider web connecting, a million threads connecting everything in a billion different ways. So I can
Okay,
kind
so
of,
let's ask specific questions. Yeah. Sorry. Do you want to continue your thought?
yeah, just
Yeah. All
my
right.
blast
Sorry.
is like, ah. So
Okay.
I can like fake the multi-thread thing by using a bunch of NI chains.
Okay. Do you like brainstorming? Do you come up with ideas?
I hate brainstorming with other people.
Right.
That's miserable, but like I can do it. It's just like, it's hard because I have to like close my eyes and go deaf for a minute so I can think and then come up with something. And then
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to okay, what did everybody say while I was in Sleep Town for a second?
And when you come up with something, do you come up with many somethings and choose the best one, or you just come up with whatever you think is the right one?
Generally, my brain will just say, here's the right way, and then I'll have to
Right.
fake it to here's a bunch of other wrong ways we could do it that are all
Uh-huh.
terrible, but
Right.
here's a
Could you
bunch of
come up with
other
a
ways.
couple of good ways, or is that, or three or four, or is that sort of something that's not
I'll,
really?
I'll generally always see the relative value of them, and also see how everybody else will perceive the relative value of them. And sometimes I'll say, well, this one is technically the best because that's what everybody will actually accept. But secretly,
Mm,
I'm like, this one's secretly the best, and nobody will ever pick it. So I can't say that it's the
that's
best because
strange. That
then
seems
they'll
like a
lump me
TE.
in.
Yeah, that seems a little bit TE there.
I guess virtual TE,
Virtual
but
TE. Yeah, because like you're doing your FE, but you're also doing it with like, yeah,
yeah. But it's like I don't I I've started to get to know TE a lot more.
yeah,
Like they really want everybody to understand. They really want everybody to fairsies. I don't want to be fair with reasons. I don't care
right.
about
There's a
fairsies when it
best
comes to
reason.
understanding.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's no
it's
fair
like
reason. Yeah. Okay. Um.
I'm
Yeah.
totally able to be unfair with how much information I give to different people because they just don't want it all.
Hmm.
There's values.
Um. What about seeing the possibilities in the moment? Is that something that you do?
Yeah, generally it's like when I'm driving, I'll be aware of everything that's going around and everything everybody could be
Defensively. Yeah.
possibly do. All potential things, and I drive very defensively. I always drive with there's space behind me, in front of me, and to the side, so that if I
Hmm.
need to swerve, I can, and there's nothing near me.
Right. Yeah, but again, that's NI. You're preparing for the future, sort of thing.
Right.
You're, yeah. I think we froze here.
All sensory, looking up and down, left, right, and
Right.
then
Yeah.
making plans for all contingencies.
Right. Yeah.
Um, yeah, NE seems to be more like it seems harder or less interesting for them to stick with one category of connection of like looking around at car situations will make them think of a song or make them think of a movie or make them think of a character. And like my wife's Annie is very interesting. She'll just like all these jumps like across different
Hmm.
dimensions across different categories to some completely obscure point, and then she'll make a joke referencing that thing, and like I did not follow any of that because
Right.
like she didn't mention any of those jumps.
Right. And that's crazy. So she's like an SI dom, and she's still sort of doing that.
Right, because she's
Yeah.
double observer and she's Annie
Oh,
is
okay.
like
Oh,
her second
right.
function.
Okay.
And
So she's a okay. That's interesting.
yeah,
So
it's
yeah,
like
'cause for me, I get the same thing. Like it really overwhelms me, the NE, when people start
yeah,
jumping around with it, like following their NE, because like NIs can follow the NE, but like creating that, like simulating that, it's like
yeah. And
you
I found like any people seem to love big words of just like, oh man, okay, give me a month and I'll like
big
follow
words.
what you're
Yeah,
talking
it's
about.
the SI. Yeah,
Yeah, like compressing all this conceptual complexity into a large concept, a SI brick of a word.
right. Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. So we're not getting data here. This is okay.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's all good. This is even no data is data, man. This is good.
Yeah. But like, virtual any of like what, I could fake it to people that like aren't very good at typing. Like,
Right. Yeah. Okay. What about TE?
yeah, TE is a struggle because it's like, you know, I the only way for me to fake it is to combine FE, which is double activated, with TI, which is super my super demon, and in a way that's for the sake of the tribe, but in a cold, emotionless way. Like, okay, of just like,
Well, yeah. I don't know if it has to be cold and emotionless, but
yeah. Well, my mother is a
hitting people over the
masculine.
head with reasons and
Yeah, of just like I've noticed my TE people seem to like to argue with people,
right.
and I can't do that. Like, I can only argue with people if it's like, if there's something at stake and there's like, the arguing has a point. I need to argue this specific thing to get to that other side. But that's, super anti-conflict.
Uh-huh.
Feminine TE is completely different, of course. But just, I've been trying to get into it of like explaining things in such a way that people across the board can understand. I've been told that I'm good. There's, the tribe. I've been told that I'm good at that, explaining complex technical things to noobs and such, people who aren't interested in the technology.
Mm-hmm.
I pride myself on being
Yeah,
good at that.
I'm not sure if that's T though. That's
But it's
just
really
a
not
blast.
T.
Yeah, it's a good blast.
It's just
Explaining your NI properly.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Do you get a satisfaction from getting things to work for other people? Like, even if they don't validate you for it?
I mean, I'm a software engineer, so getting things to work is like my entire thing.
Right, but for others, for the
yes,
tribe.
It's interesting. Like, I really enjoy making things that work really well and making those things useful for people, but I don't care if people understand how they work. It's like, if you're interested, go and figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
I care that it works and that it solves their problem.
Okay,
And
so there you go.
makes them happy.
Oh, makes them happy. Yeah.
But definitely, it's like, when there's somebody crying, I'm more likely to help in a practical way than to go and console them.
Yeah.
Of like emotions now of like,
Uh-huh. That's interesting,
hi.
because that's like what FE stereotypically is the consoler, right? Yeah.
So not me. Like, I have
Right.
no idea what to do when there's a crying person of like, oh, please.
Right. That
Really?
that FI sort of thing. Yeah.
But if there's a laughing person or somebody that might be a laughing person, I know exactly what to do.
Okay, that's interesting.
Negative emotions are scary.
What about agreement? Yeah, I don't see you caring much about agreement. But like, do you do you sometimes just agree with people? Like, can you agree with someone even if you disagree? Like, just for the
No.
sake of getting stuff done?
I can
Bite
avoid
your lip. All right.
the specifics of like, I can agree to disagree in a way in which they might be confused that I am agreeing without actually agreeing.
Right. Yeah, I got the same
I
thing.
cannot be on record being wrong.
Right.
Historically, no. Like, I'll give caveats of like, this is my best understanding right now, but like, my policy is I'm always right because I instantly admit when I'm wrong.
That's interesting. So, okay, so it sounds like you have a huge disconnect from your shadow, at least. And so, from a Jungian perspective, that means your shadow is going to take on its own sort of shadow personality.
Probably.
Yeah. Well, this is what the theory is, anyways. I don't know if it actually works like that. But
Yeah. So what I've been doing is like forcing myself to pretend that I have these things and treat my shadow self as if it's real, and like take care of my FI. Like, even though I can't directly access it, but if I'm pretending that it's there and I act as if it's there, and for example, I've been like reading fiction that I enjoy that makes me have my own feelings that I don't want to share with anyone else or discuss ever.
Oh, really? What are those feelings? Tell us about them.
So
Sorry.
like, I'll share it here because it's for
Right,
science.
Ah, for science. Okay.
And because, self-growth and stuff, but there's some, like, I've never mentioned this to like almost anybody ever. There's some anime that I like.
Okay.
That's like super romantic. And there's like, the characters are like, they have this like poignant moments and stuff, and it's super embarrassing. I just like it for me. But
Pokemon. Yeah.
No,
No.
I'm not going to tell you
Never
what
heard.
specifically. I'll just like, I'm able to admit that I like it. But there's one character of just like, she's like an FESI, double feminine character. Just like growing up, she was, left out. All she wanted was to help people. And, it's like all the stereotypes, and she's like this pure, innocent person. And she was like picked on and bullied, and she was just too innocent. She didn't even realize that they were picking on her. And
Very decider stuff.
it was, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And it's super embarrassing, but it's just like, I gave me my own feelings.
Identifying with the character.
Yeah. But
Anyway,
just like, yeah, forcing myself to read stuff like that as if I had FI is like bringing out a little bit of like awkward, weird, like FI-ish.
so yeah, all of those FI users are laughing at us. All those NE users are
I
laughing
know.
at us.
Like, you
Like,
read a book that you liked? Lol.
yeah.
This is a big problem for you to admit.
Right, yeah. Oh yeah, like
Yep.
admitting that you like something. It's kind of the same thing for me
Right?
here. Like yeah, like because like I don't know if I even liked it, you know? I'm super
Right?
critical about things and analytical about things. Like, how can I like something? How is that
Yeah.
possible? Yeah.
I only know that I liked it because of how I reacted. And I only know
Right.
how I reacted because I'm double observing, like actually monitoring, like stepping
Your facial
outside.
expressions.
Like, how am I actually responding to this in this moment? That's funny. What's with this water? Like, it's
Right.
my eyes are less itchy. What's happening?
Uh, anyway, yeah, thanks, Thomas. So we'll put a link to the first video we have out. And you're doing some cool stuff on your channel now. You're doing
Oh, thanks.
you're calling you're hijacking objective personality and calling it islet objective personality, right? AOP.
Well,
Or no. I'm just kidding.
it,
I'm just yeah.
okay. Let's get the facts straight
Let's get them
here.
exactly.
Okay,
That's why
so
I did
no,
that.
yeah, my stuff is called AOP, but it's like applied objective
Uh,
personality or advanced objective personality or a lot of personality, or I just really liked the acronym AOP, so I just
right.
like I chose that, and I'll
That
figure
FI
out
there. There you
what it
go.
means later. No,
Finally
it's
found
because
one.
AO, a lot of
Because reasons. Here we
is a
go.
really good prefix for a lot of stuff, and
Okay.
OP was already OP, and like it just worked really well for me.
Uh-huh.
I just
Also,
did
it
it,
sounds good aesthetically.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, it's a very, very long-term project. I'm planning on working on it for a very long term. So,
Okay. Yeah.
and
And
it's
so what
for
kind of
me.
stuff are you coming out with there? Like advanced,
Um,
you think?
yeah. So, like in the short term, I'm just trying to publish a video a week
Right.
where I'm explaining some of the basics of objective personality concepts and like demonstrating how that works and how that makes sense, as well as like doing some typing where I'm like recording myself typing somebody, um, and so you can see me totally screw up.
Mm-hmm.
And but what's useful there is like what worked for me about that is that when I have screwed up and I get somebody's type wrong, I can then rewind the video and like see exactly where and when and how I screwed up so that I can
Right. Yeah.
self-correct.
Self-correct. There you go. Yeah.
And it holds me accountable.
Right.
And I'm trying to get into some of the science, and I have some longer term plans. I may or may not be writing a book.
Hmm.
I may or may not be creating educational toys and jewelry.
So I may or may not be putting that link in the description.
Yeah, there may or may not be an OP card game
And then you're
coming out.
also doing like tech stuff, right?
Yeah. So the tech stuff is all like, yeah. So there's like the OPT kind of bubble calculator thing,
Yeah.
and a couple of other things. I'm not working on that so much right
Okay.
now.
Well, I'll put the link anyways. I have the link from your first video.
Cool.
And so were we talking about swag? Are we allowed to talk about swag?
Sure, why not?
So go ahead.
I may or may not come out with a line of OP related swag at some point. A
Okay.
T-shirt with all of your, with your type on it, or like, I don't know. I'm
right.
still in the planning phases.
And did you say what you needed to say about the stuff in the background there, or
Oh,
you
I don't
covered
know.
that, right?
Sure. I like
Yeah.
whiskey.
Right. I like it when it's spelled backwards like that too.
Oh, right. Oh, I got to hit a button to make that the right way around. Technology, bro.
Yeah. I think
Uh,
this is my left hand. This is my right hand. And I'm pretty sure I got it.
there. Did that fix it?
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Okay.
All of a sudden we can notice all of your facial flaws because it's complete fix.
Yeah. This one side, this is my good side. This side, I look like an ogre. Just like, don't even. That's actually why I have my camera set up the way that it is.
No, it's cool, man. No, I like both sides. You're
SF, bro. It's super important.
yeah.
I
Anyway,
gotta turn
yeah.
that off, or I'll forget.
All right. So yeah, thanks a lot for coming out. Links in the description.
Thanks.
Data. That's cool. Have a good one.